trail camera pictures.
You getting them too? I was getting blown up yesterday with a 10-pointer.
Nice.
All right, we're live. Huntstock 2022. Last day. Things are winding down. And we're going to flip the script and talk turkeys. And hopefully there's nor'easter game calls are next to us, so you might hear some hen yelps in this. But sitting here with Kevin Plante, Steve Champa, and Amy Mulherin. And what's going on, boys? And
Just
girls.
having a blast.
And a gal.
Been a good weekend.
Yeah.
If you haven't been here, you've missed out.
Yeah.
For sure.
Shout out to Pat. He killed it. Both Pats.
Yeah.
Yep.
They did a real good job. Good advertisement. Good crowd. Good turnout.
Even Friday. You were here Friday.
Yeah.
Pretty busy.
Yeah, it was busy. I wasn't here yesterday, but everybody says it was mobbed.
Yeah. There had to have been well over 1,000 people.
Yeah, probably.
Here yesterday?
It's been packed.
Yeah.
But, nope. We've had a lot of fun.
Yep.
It's been a lot of fun.
So how was your spring? I know Kevin saw a lot of birds die.
Yeah, I watched 16 birds die. A pile of them with Champa.
Yeah. Yeah, we killed.
4 birds together.
I got that one in New Hampshire, and then 3 in New York.
Yep.
You got 1, I got 2, and then...
That was it.
Was it?
Yep.
Yeah, because we didn't hunt mass together this year.
How many different states did you guys go?
4.
I did 5.
Yeah, I killed 6 birds in 4 states.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I killed 10 birds, 5 states.
I should have killed another one in New
New
York,
York,
but the camera guy couldn't get the bird on camera, so.
Don't point fingers.
It's always the camera guy.
It was, what was it, like 11 o'clock when we struck that thing? It was late in the day, and you can only hunt till noon in New York, and the sun's just like glaring on the camera and on me, and I'm like, I know the camera's pointed at the turkey, but I'm like, I don't know if I got him. And if we go back later on that day, and I had him right in frame the whole time.
Oh,
It kind of floated. No, it wasn't right in frame. It floated through the frame, but it would have been good enough. But
35 yards, red dot on his head.
Ooh.
Steve, you want him? Steve, you want him? Steve, you want him? I don't know. Steve, you want him? Yeah. And we were on a side. We were on a side hill, kind of the side of a mountain, and we were on a little bench. And there was a game trail that he should have kept on coming right to us.
I have no reason why there's no reason why he stepped off that bench. We didn't scare him because we heard him walk right by us at, I don't know, 12, 14 yards. He was just on, to our left on the drop off the bench. And the worst part is he sat there and he probably 80 yards from us gobbling for like an hour. And we tried to make a loop on him, get in front of him, and then, I'll let Kevin tell the rest of the story. It was his hunt, but it was fun.
Yeah, so I mean, he came walking right down this game trail perfectly. We were 3/4 of the way up this mountain, and at 35 yards, I had him, and then Steve couldn't get him on camera, and all of a sudden, he just dropped off the edge. And like Steve said, you could hear him walk by us, like right underneath us. It's just one of those steep banks, so we weren't close enough to the edge to see over it, and you could hear him walking through the leaves are so crunchy. And he just walked by us like 60, 70 yards, and he just started gobbling back up in there. And we called him a little bit, but then we circled back around and got down on the same level as him again, just another small bench. And then we got within 80, 100 yards again. And same thing, he would just sit there and hammer. And it was like 11:45 probably.
Started making headway.
A little bit. He inching closer to us, but we went quiet completely. We were like, he's not moving. Like, we'll just go quiet, scratch some leaves, and then hopefully the quiet will get him moving. And it was like 11:58 or 11:59. I see his head like 60, 70 yards, and he's sneaking his way up. He wasn't coming hard. He's just kind of poking, and he's starting to feed a little bit, and he just poke up, and then
gobble every few minutes.
Before you know it, it's 12:01, and he's walking by at like 35 yards.
12:06, he's standing there in a wide open spot, strutting, looking around.
Yeah.
And we sat, and he stayed there too in that same
for
spot for an hour. And we sat there. Kevin's got a picture of me napping against the tree.
We fell asleep. He would sit there and he would gobble every few minutes at 40 yards.
Wake you up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's how we ended up knowing when we could leave. He ended up backing back up at like 100, 150 yards. When one of his gobbles woke me up, I'm like, oh, like we can sneak out of here now. Like, we didn't want to bust him, get up right away, because we were thinking we could go back in the next morning. Either us go back in there, or we were with the Just Hunt Club guys.
Yeah.
So we had another spot. We had killed a bird with Steve earlier that morning, and there was at least 2 other toms in that spot. So, well, if we go over to that spot, we can send somebody else into here, so we didn't want to bust anything up. But yeah, it was after 1 o'clock by the time we got out of there without spooking that bird. But yeah, he should have been dead.
It was a lot of fun. The Adirondacks it's huge woods out there. I mean, there was nothing for civilization, and you're just driving and hitting all these public spots out there. And the first bird I killed first morning, we were a ways from anything, and we struck this bird I got out of the truck and we were waiting for no cars to come by, and I called, and this bird fired. I don't know how he was up there.
Yeah, he's up on the side of the mountain.
Yeah, he was all of a quarter mile away at least. And we thought it was only one, and we drove down the road because there was some public down the road, and we tried to access from behind them, but we started to walk in there, and I was like, by the time we catch up to these things, they're going to be gone. So we went back to where we came from, and there was a point that came right. There was posted signs, and then there was one point that was public that came right to the road. So we skirted right into that public. It was, we were legal what we did, obviously. We got in there, and we were right on the edge of the posted property, and then it opened up into huge public. I mean, that tract of public that we were on up there was thousands of acres,
yeah.
And I called these 3 birds, and we got in there, and I was gonna call, and Kevin's like, you should probably hit the crow call first just to see where they are. I'm like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. And Kevin hits the crow call, and the things are right there. They're 80, 100 yards, and I'm like, man, they were already coming to the road call that I did just to strike them, and we sat down, and what was it, 2 minutes, if that. You can hear, here comes 3 longbeards walking out in front of us, and Kevin, I'm like, you want him? He's like, yeah, boom. I shoot one, and then the other 2 sat there, and Kevin didn't get out to New York till, like, what was it? Oh, no, you got there in the morning because you left so late.
I got there at 1:30 in the morning, so I didn't have a tag yet.
Yeah. And the other 2 birds are just sitting there, just looking at the tom I killed. And I was like, man, I wish Kevin had a license, because it would have been an awesome double if the opportunity was there. But that was a lot of fun. New York was a good time. Vermont's always my struggle state. And then New Hampshire, Maine, and Mass was everywhere I hunted this spring. Oh, and I went to North Carolina, and I came close down there. And I hunted Maryland, came close down there, but didn't kill. I only had a couple days to hunt those states, and then I came home. So a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I love spring.
The Adirondacks was fun. That was a good time.
That was my favorite
even
trip.
when we did go to get my license. So Steve kills his bird at 6:30 in the morning or whatever, and we're up in the middle of nowhere trying to find a place for me to get my license, now my tag, since I got there in the middle of the night. And I would have bought it online, but in New York, if you buy them online, they mail them to you, and it takes like 2 weeks. So if you're going last minute, you have to buy them in person.
Oh,
So
that's too bad.
yeah, so we ended up finding out that whatever the town halls, one of the local town halls, small little town up in Adirondacks town hall.
1 person in the whole place.
Yeah, we had to wait for them to open. So we went and got food, sat in the parking lot for an hour and a half waiting for them to open. We go inside to get my license. I tell the lady I'm looking to get a hunting license. She goes, oh, we don't sell hunting licenses until August. So apparently in New York, their licenses go from August 1st to July 31st is their schedule. I'm like, oh. I'm like, well, it's turkey season right now. I'm like, what do you mean I can't get a license till August? She goes, oh, you want to shoot turkeys? I'm like, yeah. She goes, oh.
You came all the way from New Hampshire for that?
She goes, people hunt those?
So there's not a lot of pressure around there.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And that was one of the things, like, out where we were. If finding the birds was the hardest part.
We were hot that trip. Me and Kevin could not find turkeys that
Yeah.
trip. If there was birds around there, we found them. We just had that good run of luck that trip.
There seemed to be a lot of birds out there by the sign, or
They're spread out. They're in pockets.
Yeah, and it was weird. It was
much like the deer.
Yeah, it was like when it rained, it poured. It was all or nothing. I mean, that mountaintop that we killed on the second day, I walked up there. I mean, that mountain, that wasn't a small mountain.
No.
And I went all the way to the summit of it just to listen to see if anything gobbled, because it's just woods everywhere around us. And I heard 2 birds fly up, and I saw 2 red heads as I was walking up the mountain, take off running. So I was like, well, this is our starting point. And then the second morning, there's, 3 or 4 male birds. There was that one down across the road. And there was a good, like we said, like the deer in the Adirondacks, so aren't the turkeys. They're all in pockets.
Yep.
But when you found the pocket, it was good. Those birds were the least call-shy turkeys I think I've ever hunted in my life. They heard a call. They thought it was a hen. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It's like a hidden gem out there.
Yeah, it
Yep.
is. It's getting more popular though. You start hearing more people. Like this year was the most I've heard people. I don't know if it's because we went there, but this year was the most I've heard people talk about it.
Yeah.
About as far as hunting out there.
And then even getting permission on posted. A couple of the guys in the group had
No problem.
100% success getting permission on private just because people were like, hey, you want to shoot a turkey? Fine, go for it.
Well, even that guy where we walked up, where we parked, he as we were walking out, he's like, "Go for it." The public was right next to his house, and he had a small piece of private there, and he's like, "Have at it." He's like, "What are you guys doing out here?" And we're from New Hampshire and turkey hunting. Oh, that's strange.
We have a problem.
Yeah, we have a problem. We can't hunt around our house anymore. We don't have any more tags. But it was really cool out there. It was a fun trip. I'd love to go back.
Yep. The group we were with was awesome as well.
I think there was like 14 of us in camp. So the camaraderie, I mean, you can only imagine 14 guys in their late 20s, early 30s in a camp together.
Yeah.
There was some really good conversation and entertainment.
Yeah.
Class. You only hunt till noon, so the rest of the time you're hanging out in camp for the next 4 or 5 hours, and we
Yeah.
all go out to roost birds,
Get dinner.
get dinner.
Yeah.
But a
Yeah.
couple guys were fishing, and we were camped right next to a brook, and we were catching trout, cooking it up over the fire as soon as
That sounds like a
seconds
good time.
seconds out of the river.
Yeah,
You know.
it was turkey and trout. That was, Jake. From
High
Just
protein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jake Lynch from Just Hunt Club. He's got an awesome picture. He killed a bird out there, and he's holding the turkey in one hand and a stringer of fish in the other. I'm like, that's odd. And it's a beautiful brook running through the background, and right where we stayed, it was a cool campsite, cool trip all in all.
Yep. It's one of the advantages of turkey hunting. It's just so much more camaraderie in it. Like we all love shooting deer and deer hunting, but it's definitely 100% different style. And
Yeah.
Oh,
like
yeah.
you have hunt camps, but generally you're out dark to dark, and by the time you get back, you're
Tired.
you beat the hell, and
Yeah.
you might tell a couple stories, but before you know it, you gotta get to bed and get back out there again. At least with turkeys, you're hunting groups, and we
We
all
hunt together.
Yeah, we all hunted in pairs with cameramen and shooters. And
Yeah.
hang out. You go hunt till noon, so you get more time in camp. So it's
Yeah.
definitely a good break from the fall.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, yeah. I miss it already. Everybody calls me crazy. They're like, "You realize we're weeks away from deer season?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I love my turkey hunting.
Yeah.
I live for that." I mean, I get very excited. Don't get me wrong when I shoot a big buck, but when you're sitting there in the dark at 4 o'clock in the morning and all of a sudden you hear one fire off, that gets the heart going.
Yeah, I got her into it. We went out the first night, first year she hunted, or the night before. We went up on top of this ridge with our backs to posted, but just to listen out into the public. And one fired off, and she just like immediately you could tell like. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, she was kind of like on the fence about, like, am I going to be able to shoot one, this, that, and the other. And, dude, 15 minutes in the hunt, that Tom's walking across the ridge. I was like, shoot him. Boom, rolls him over. And so it was like hooked.
Yep. Same with my wife. My wife killed a bird with me a couple years ago. And then we ended up doubling, like delayed double. She
Yep.
shot a bird, and we're hooting and hollering and setting up to take pictures. And I've got her bird like draped over a log with the sun in the background, just really framing it up, just creating the memories and stuff. And she looks, she goes, I just heard another one gobble. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, don't worry about, like, who cares? Like, it's not about me today. I don't need to shoot a bird. I don't care. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm taking the picture, and all of a sudden the bird strikes at like 150 yards. I'm like, threw her bird on the ground. We ran back to the tree we just killed hers from. I grabbed the gun, throw another shell back into it, and then 2 minutes later has killed a bird 5 feet from where she killed hers.
Yep.
So
Turkeys are part of the reason I'm afraid to go elk hunting because I love the interaction with them, and I know when I go elk hunting, I'm just gonna be like, this is it. This is all I want to do.
Yeah.
Because they're so interactive and so responsive. It's it's not like a deer where you sit there and rut activity. You might hear them grunting and bleeding and calling and sparring, anything. But there's nothing. There's nothing like when you can talk to them. The whole time you can keep tabs on them. It's not like a deer where you're hoping that it's going to come by or they're going to come hit a scrape or they're going to come out of a transition
It's
or whatever.
boring.
Yeah, it is. It is. No matter how you slice it. Don't get me wrong. When you shoot a deer, all that boring is totally worth it.
Yep.
But with turkeys, you're in the game all the time. If you have a bird gobbling, you're in the game.
if you don't move,
Yeah.
you don't have to sit there all day like
Right.
at the deer stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know they're coming. You can close distance, you can go after them. I can't tell you how many turkeys we ran over. We use the terminology run over, which means getting too close to them as they're coming at you. But
Yep.
I mean, main late
Done
season,
that.
yeah, a million times this spring is just getting too aggressive with them. But I mean, that's part of the fun with it. That's my favorite part is just hearing them and closing the gap and shooting them.
Yeah, there's so many different styles and techniques to turkey hunting. Like, I know we have very aggressive styles.
Yeah.
So I think it's why we hunt together so well.
I've never hunted out of a blind.
I tried bow hunting out of a blind one day, and I swore myself I'd never do it again.
It's boring.
I'm like, I am not made to do this.
I'm not a field bird guy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'll shoot birds out of a field with a shotgun.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just, if
I
they're
don't look
there,
at-
I'll do it. But
I don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah.
If there's a turkey in a field and he wants to die and play, he's gonna gonna come in.
But I sit in a tree stand all fall. Like, I know you're big into tracking, so.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah, but
trying to the last couple of years, but I spend so
It's
much
hit or
time.
miss.
Yeah, correct. So, like, come turkey season.
Always snows on a Wednesday when you're at work.
It literally every time.
Yep.
Time. I've killed turkeys out of blinds, but like 2 years ago, open day of Mass, it was like 40 degrees out, and it was torrential downpours all day. And I knew there was this field that there was always birds, and so I popped a blind up and I sat there all day, and I was like, wow, I felt this was deer hunting. It was the most, it wasn't that that rush that we go after and trying to call them in and interact. It was pretty slow going.
I think we chased the gobble more than we chased the kill.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
yeah. Like, yeah, you can kill a bird with those tactics. Tons of people are super successful doing it. Just not our personal favorite style. We've all done it, for sure.
This year was so strange. It was either like the birds were so damn hot or they were so cold. I don't know. That was just what I experienced. But I think we didn't have really the best weather till late season.
Yeah, your New Hampshire bird.
Yeah, that one that we filmed together.
Yeah, that was wet,
It was
drizzly.
pouring.
Did they even gobble once?
No, remember I thought they got bumped. I thought I bumped them on the roost because there's this big Class 6. It's not even a Class 6. It's just a dirt road that runs through the woods. It really doesn't have a purpose there. And I went in there and I hooted, and I don't know, what was there, 2 longbeards there? There's 2 or 3, I think. Birds fired off, and we're sitting there and just pouring rain, and we both have our rain gear on. We're sitting there and we're like this.
Trying to keep the camera dry.
Yeah, and all of a sudden they did gobble. I think they gobbled twice, and they were only like 75 yards from us. And they pitched down one hen pitched across the road that we were sitting on,
yep.
because I was like, it's raining out. I was like, these things are gonna come right to the road because it's dry. They can see, they can hear better than in the woods.
Then there was a field like 100 yards up on the other side of the road, too.
And this road was destroyed with tracks, strut marks. I mean, the birds have been using this road a lot, and I was like, this is definitely where they're gonna come to. And one of the hens pitched down across the road, and she landed 10 yards from us.
She landed in the middle of the road.
No, the other one.
Oh, no, the other one,
The
yeah.
first one, and then we had one pitch down like 10 feet from us. Like, literally, it was like from here to the camera away, and maybe from here to the back of that Dodge. And all of a sudden, she knew something was up, and she didn't make a ton of noise, but she kind of meandered off.
She putted a little bit.
Yeah, but she wasn't real scared. She knew something was up, but she took off, and then we had those. I mean, it was pouring rain, and all of a sudden, you can't even hear them when it's that wet out. They would come walking up to the woods. And I was like, oh, here they come. I'm like, Kevin, you want them? You want them? And he was over my right shoulder, and the bird came at like 10 o'clock. So he's like, you're in between me and the bird. I'm like, well, I'm not saving this for film. I was like, this thing's going to turkey heaven. So in a way, it did.
Yeah, the toms never made it up to that road that we were set
No,
up
they walked
on.
to the woods. All the hens pitched right down to the road and just over the road, which would have been perfect because we were set up for that. And actually, remember they walked. We put a half strut Jake decoy in the road because I was like, they're gonna see this, and it's 2 longbeards, and if they see a Jake with a hen, they're gonna come in and try to square up with them. And they looked at the decoy, and then they turned and they walked towards us. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was kind of strange how they did that. It was.
Yeah, and I was just on the wrong side of the tree, so I couldn't get the camera on them.
There's one. It was opening day, New Hampshire. We called this bird in from the other ridge.
Yeah.
We didn't know. We were after some that she roosted the night before. We were working up around them, and then about fly down time, we heard bang. So I had called at the top of the ridge prior to circling around. So we came back around. I called again. Nothing to that bird that was on the ridge. So we go down, and he was coming. All of a sudden, he fires off, and he's like under 100 yards somewhere, and we're in the wide open. I
We
was
need
like,
a tree now.
I'm looking around, and I pulled the hen decoy, which I'm weary about, but I'm like, if he sees her, maybe he'll come. Like, it's too open, like so I put it out. I shouldn't have. He saw it and dropped off the ledge and went strutting. She could only see, top of his head?
Yeah, if I had shot, he was from, like, me to that darn tough table. I mean, like, right there, popped his head up. If I had shot, it probably would have just wounded him, like, in the eye with some. I mean,
Like, couple inches to the top of his head.
Yeah.
Could see the white caps on his head.
Yeah.
but on the film,
I had his whole neck because I was over his shoulder.
Right.
You're a little bit taller, so you're sitting up a little bit higher than she is.
Yeah.
Well, it was such a rush thing that I just knelt down behind the tree behind her and just got over her shoulder.
Right.
And
I wouldn't have had it.
I'm sitting there going,
Shoot him.
You know what's crazy is it's funny you bring up that situation. It's been twice now. Once last year and once this year. Once in West Virginia last year and then in New Hampshire this year. That same thing which happened with you. I could just see the top of his head, and then he stuck from like just above his wattles up over the top of the hill. And when I shot, I dusted the hill right in front of him. And it happened to me in West Virginia and New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on here? And I was like, all right, I guess when you have those those tight shots when they're that close and all you can see if you're going to shoot at them is aim just for the top of their head because
your group's so tight still.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, both times it looked like a slug hit the ground when I shot at him, but I think that's something that you can. It's one of those things you learn by experience and having it happen. But it can like you said, you were a foot over her back, and it looked like you could see 10 times more of the bird.
I killed him with that camera for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's like what happened with us in New York, like we were talking about.
At one point, I could see his beard. He was a good bird.
Yeah.
And then he didn't like it. I think he was older, and he walked away gobbling the whole time.
Yeah, he did.
Like,
He
you can
went
come with me.
Yeah, he's like, if you're real, going this way.
Yep.
It wasn't his first time being called in.
There
Wasn't
was
his
two of
first
them.
opening day.
No.
Strutting out there after.
And then the one we got on film, she finally killed. It was like the 19th till she killed one. She didn't have a lot of time, and plus she had a pretty severe knee injury a year ago, and I still hiked her all over the place. But it was
Here's a physical therapy.
it was a ski resort bird, and the gnats, dude. It was like humid that morning.
Yeah.
And so he's coming through in between one of the trails, and like it's now you can't move time.
Right.
We're on the other side of the trail, maybe 25 yards, and they're just chewing on our heads, and freaking he breaks the tree line, and I hear her going, can I shoot him? And I don't see him. There's like a branch in the way, and I moved like this, and she pow, and then he kind of like she hit him low, and he was running off, pow, hit him again, and he went back across where he came from, and he was laying over there dead. But
Yeah.
Nice.
yeah, it was a fun hunt.
That kind of stunk though, because we couldn't enjoy it.
No, we
Because the
couldn't.
bugs
We could
were
not.
so
we
fast.
barely got pictures. It was so bad.
We
Get
just
outta
wanted
here.
to-
Yeah, let's just run.
That's the bad part about late season. The mosquitoes and the gnats are
That was
terrible.
my favorite one was on the same mountain when I got the 2 jakes.
Yeah, doubled up on the jakes.
Yeah.
At what, like 5:45, 5:50 in the morning,
Yeah.
and one came in, shot him, and we stood up. We're like going towards it, and the other one's standing there like, "What the fuck?" This happened. Dumbfounded. It's like, shoot the other one. So I dropped the other one. I was like, "Holy fuck, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was
Cool.
cool."
Yeah. Doubles are always fun. That's a good thing about like Maine, Vermont,
Mass.
Mass.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've only doubled I think once, maybe twice, and like you said, it's so cool. Like those are the most memorable hunts
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're like, I remember that. That was awesome.
Yeah, and he got both on film, which was cool.
Yeah, that's
Like,
awesome.
right before I shot the second one, that was fun.
Yeah,
That's my favorite one.
I could have got a double this year, like 2 with 1 shot.
Yeah.
But they were jakes, and I was like, do I do it? And I knew I had some time off coming up.
Yeah.
And I just let him walk.
Yeah.
Yep. I'd probably do the same.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. I guess it would depend on where I was if I would have double all at once. I just enjoy chasing birds too much.
Yeah, and it was
I'm like, do I want to be done or do I not?
it was still pretty early in the season,
Yep.
and I ended up filling one of my Vermont tags.
If I was traveling, I probably would. Maine or Vermont
Yeah,
or something.
if I was somewhere, whatever, Connecticut,
Yep.
like this is my only day or 2 here. Yeah, wallop.
Yeah, that one was late, right? That was right before the wedding, so Yeah, it was like third week in May.
Oh, the Jakes?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was in the 20. That was like
Yeah.
the 22nd or something.
Yeah. That
No.
was.
Well, this turkey talk's getting me wanting to go back.
It is fun.
I want
You got fall birds,
With
but it's not the same.
The temperatures dropped a little bit here today. It feels a little more spring-like.
Yeah. That's what I love about late August. Late August, you wake up and it's cool in the morning.
Yeah,
It's warm
throw on
on
a hoodie.
Yeah. But I
Sure.
definitely want to get back to turkey hunting.
That is fun.
Yeah, we got a couple bucks we got to kill first.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a couple of them that hopefully their days are numbered.
I'm gonna try that this year, right?
What's that?
Yeah, we're going to try to get you a New Hampshire muzzleloader buck.
Nice.
That's a good time.
It's an awesome time of year.
Scrapes.
Yep.
That late October, early November, they're just absolutely crushing scrapes.
Yep.
Yeah.
You kind of, it's if they're going to come in, I can kind of like, all right, they're going to be stopped right there. Never works that way, but.
Yeah,
No.
I think muzzler opens up like the
Okay, let's get-
29th or something this year.
Let's get back to
October.
turkeys.
What's your guys' plans in the spring?
I want to go back to Maryland. When I was down in Maryland this year, I went with Brett and John and Just Hunt Club guys, and that was some of the most beautiful terrain. It was like Vermont, but not as.
Did you guys
steep.
see Travis Pastrana?
What's that?
You see Travis Pastrana down there?
No. No,
He lives somewhere down there.
Does he? So it was just like, there was long ridges that, ran for miles, but they were only 200 feet, 300 feet in elevation change. So you're not climbing up where you're out of breath.
Yeah.
And you're dead by the time you get to the top of it. You just climb up over these foothills, and it's awesome. It's very open hardwoods down there, so it's hard to move on birds. But if you can use, instead of using foliage, you're using terrain to your advantage to make moves on them. So
Gotcha.
you can just use those little hills to get up and over and call those birds. And I came real close, but it didn't happen. And we had bad weather when we were down there too. It snowed. There was like 4 inches of snow. Yeah.
You're tracking birds?
Yeah.
Kyle and Joe almost killed them. They called them 4 longbeards on the snow, and the camera saved their life on that one. But it was beautiful terrain down there. I definitely want to go back there. I'd love to go back to New York again too.
New York was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Anything? Staying local?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I kind of want to try. We hunted Mass one day
Yeah.
because the season opened on a Sunday
Yeah. Monday.
Monday.
or Monday.
The last Monday of April.
No, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was open on a Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I got to buy my Mass tag or my license to apply for a doe tag, and it's $10 for a turkey tag. So really, this hunt's only going to cost $10.
Mm-hmm.
I got to buy it eventually anyway. But I got my doe, applied for the doe early.
Yep.
Got the doe tag, but yeah, I just knew there was bird sign from deer hunting, and we went to one of my spots, and first thing, gobble. So,
That's
but
awesome.
I bickered with a hen. I just mimicked her,
Yeah.
but added a little more, and it was like 50-50 shot. She's either going to come in or she's going to take him and leave, and she took him and left across the
yeah.
road. We went and tried to find them, but
Yeah, we saw some.
yeah, there was a green tag driving up the power line, ripping on a box call.
Yeah.
Because that was her 4th season or 3rd season, and we hear this real aggressive like. She's like, that sounds like a box call. I'm like, you're getting it.
Yep.
sounds like Steve Champa trying to strike birds.
Adirondacks.
Yeah.
How we struck them all.
That box call was the key to that trip.
It's almost like a shot gobble at
It
that
is.
point. They're
It's
like, whoa.
exactly what it is. We got busted a couple times doing that in the Adirondacks because they're actually too close to
close.
us.
Yeah.
By the time we get set up and into the woods, they've already busted us. And
They figured it
never,
out.
Never
on
hear
that
from them
power
again.
line.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. But
Yeah, they were trying to strike them from the vehicle, like while driving.
Oh, really?
I
They
was
didn't
like,
stop?
this is not.
Slam their door.
It's crazy.
Might as well just slam the door and hope that they gobble.
Yeah. It was wild. I'm like, I'm glad she's learning from, like, not to talk myself up, but like if she's learning from people like that, like Jesus,
Yeah.
don't be doing that.
Yep.
It's crazy how many people just are afraid to get into the woods too. So many people, like, don't get me wrong, I've done my fair share of striking birds from the road, but
Yeah, but at least shut your vehicle off, get
Yeah.
out,
walk up onto the edge of the woods, or get away from the truck and listen and be quiet.
Yeah.
Just the motor noise is going to drown out so much noise.
I can't stand.
Gobble.
I got to get, if I'm not going to shut my truck off, I got to get away from it.
Right.
I can't.
Even when I do, I still walk 40 yards away because just the subtle noises, the truck's still
Pinging,
creaking.
yeah.
Stuff like
yeah,
that.
And what was it? Hunting Public said something like they can hear the rocks popping. Like it's
Yeah.
the same stuff. You roll up,
Yeah.
you get out,
Shut off,
go to
slam
the
your door.
same
Yeah.
spot. Like they get educated.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And once they hear it too, I mean, you can get birds that can be pretty grumpy for a couple days, even weeks in the season. If they see you do that or they hear you and you bust them, they'll be pretty grumpy for a while.
It's like the season goes and flows. Like that first few days can be really good because they haven't been hunted too much, and then there's a drop in a lot of activity.
Yeah.
Mid-May lull.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Lull.
it's just they've been pressured a lot, and then 2 weeks into the season, the pressure subsided. Either a lot of people have tagged their birds or they've given up already, and then
Or
late season it picks back up again.
Or the hens,
Are nesting.
they've been bred and they're
Yeah.
nesting, so it's
Yeah.
like,
It's a combination of
and then
everything.
the late season, the ones that didn't produce start talking again, and the
Yep.
birds get fired up.
I've had that late season be so shit hot. I've had it be so terrible too.
Yep.
Maine is hit or miss.
Yeah.
Because they go out into June.
They go to September.
just about, yeah. But-
and their fall season, you can kill like 10 or 12 turkey. I don't even know. It's a lot of birds, so don't quote me on
That's
it.
insane.
I know those-
It's unbelievable how many
Those
fall
June
turkeys.
hunts are tough because the birds are either extremely hot and coming to you, or they're just pecking,
Yeah.
and they're already done with the breeding phase. So it's
Over
like
it.
in between. Yep.
They're rubbed raw.
3 years ago, 2020 or no, 2 years ago, 2020 COVID year, I was up in Maine in June, and it was right after Labor. I think it was the weekend after Labor Day, or it was the week of after Labor Day, and I struck a bird, and I've never had a bird gobble that hard my whole entire life. I struck him. I did strike him from the road, and I got in the woods with him, and man, that thing gobbled 300 times before he got to me. He was choking on himself. I'm like, wow. And the whole time he's just, you can just hear him coming. I'm like, oh my God, this thing is in trouble. And I shot him, and then we went up there this year for John Lewis's 30th birthday, and we struck I want to say 6, 7, 8 birds, and almost all of them would only gobble once. They just gobble once, and that's it. They just give you the courtesy. Yep, I'm here. You come get me. Yeah. And it was the polar opposite of that experience I had a couple years ago, But
Yep. Late season's fun, but it's hit or miss.
the bugs suck late season too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the worst part about once you get into late May. But that second to last week of the season, the 20th of May, that's when it's good because the bugs aren't too bad, and the birds are usually, like you said, either people are tagged out, they quit, or or they're they're not out there, and a lot of those grumpy turkeys that are the ones that have been shot at are spread out. They're not in the same fields that they were in the opening day when they were displaying for hens. And I think that's a big thing that how birds get moved around. You'll have no turkey sign in some pieces of woods or no birds, and then halfway through the season you go out there and there's turkeys everywhere, and it's because they're getting away from the pressure and the people, just like deer. They
Food
adapt.
sources change too.
Yeah, more
As the green up comes.
Yeah, more browse. I mean, people think that's funny. You talk about turkeys and browse, but how many times you cut open a crop and there's clover in it, or there's grass and leaves, and they definitely do their fair share of browsing too.
Yeah. I watched a hen picking at just in a hayfield, she's probably after bugs, but she just
grabbing stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're cool. They're cool creatures. I mean, there's nothing like it in the spring.
Yeah, no, I don't understand. I mean, I guess to each their own, but I don't get it. Why wouldn't
you do it?
It's so fun.
Yeah, I know.
It's all right. They don't need to.
Yeah.
It's true.
We've been trying to get Neil to go turkey hunting for as long as we've been friends with him.
Yeah.
And we just can't get him to go. We
I
almost
asked
had him.
I think he's too afraid.
Yeah.
I think he's afraid of.
He's gonna love it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't. He knows he can't get another addiction.
Yeah.
Because he's
Yeah,
so
now
big
he's-
into
now he's
killing
got a
big bucks,
kid
and he was chasing giant Lakers for so long.
Yeah.
He finally passed that 20-pound mark a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And that was his giant buck and his giant Laker were his two goals, and He's like, I don't think I think he's afraid of having another addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just scared.
I asked him to take it. I was like, come out. He's like, I'd piss a lot of people off if I went out with you. I'm not gonna lie. He's like, I've been being begged for years.
There's not too many people that go turkey hunting and say that sucked.
No.
They're every once in a while you'll hear the one person, yeah, the bugs were bad, or I missed, or we didn't get any turkeys to gobble. But if you go out there and you have a good day, or you kill a turkey for your first time out,
Yeah.
it's a guarantee that person is a turkey hunter.
Once you're in the woods, you hear that first gobble.
Even in April when when you're just out scouting or driving around, you see birds strutting around the side of the road. You hear that.
March when they start strutting in fields.
Yeah, that's the best. I have a pet turkey, and I still get excited when he gobbles.
Not quite the same, but it's the same idea.
Yeah, it is. His gobble's not as good, but every time I walk out my back door, I owl hoot, and he gobbles me. He lets me know where he is.
Gets you through the year.
Yeah, it does. It keeps the itch away.
Hits you right in the heart.
Yeah, it does. So it's so funny. Lucas called me last weekend. He's like, boy, did I hear the most Steve Champa thing I've ever heard in my life this weekend. I said, what happened? He goes, I was at Morse's shooting the 3D course, and all of a sudden I heard a turkey gobbling. And I heard turkey gobbling. And I heard turkey gobbling right from the road. And we come out to the road, and there's a guy, and it was his truck horn.
No way.
He goes, I looked online. They're like $40. You need one. I was like, I will be getting one.
That's funny.
Just in traffic, just
Yeah.
yeah.
That is the most Steve Champa thing ever. For sure. Yep. Looking forward to it.
Deer season will be over before we know it. We'll be hunting turkeys again. As much as I hate to say it,
I'm still excited for deer season though.
Oh, it's 2 weeks away. It's here. We'll
start with bears and then
bears into deer, but it's here. It's
Especially after being at an event like this.
Yeah. If this doesn't get you fired up for deer season, I don't know what does.
The people, the conversations.
Yeah.
This is
All the
like the
mounts.
kickoff.
All the mounts and the sheds, and I'm like itching to get my deer heads back now. I just saw a real nice buck in there. I was like, man, I want my deer heads back.
Yeah. None coming back to me this year. Hopefully. I need to learn I gotta stay put. Because I love to scout.
Yeah.
So I know of like a billion scrapes and rubs, and I bounce around too much. I need to start like giving spots time. I'm just
committing to it.
Yeah, that's why I took to tracking, because it's like
you can stay active and moving.
It's never boring.
Right.
Even if you're not on a track, you're hiking through the woods. It's not boring.
Right.
And I get like, all right, ready, gonna be a good spot, and get set up and wait. And I sit there and I just talk myself out of the tree.
But is it a good spot?
Exactly. I should be on that scrape. Oh, the wind changed. But did it change? No, it's back now.
You even do that when we're turkey hunting. We'll set up somewhere and you're like, we get all ready. You're like, actually, let's go over there.
I do the same thing.
He's gonna be a while. Let's move.
Yeah,
Good
he
time.
can't sit still.
Yeah, he's gobbled at us for the past 15 minutes. Yeah, let's find a bird that wants to play.
He might not even be coming. Let's move over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna ask. Like, you have one hammering on the roost. I don't even know if this is a good question, but hammering on the roost, you don't see them fly down, and then they just go quiet.
Hens.
Yeah,
They get henned up, but
Yeah.
do you get aggressive and just move around and try to?
You can try to cut them off. You can give
Yeah,
them a gobble.
sometimes.
Yeah.
That's where scouting comes into a lot of it. Especially if it's someplace local where you scouted the birds. Kind of, they'll have patterns like deer, especially early in the year.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, there's times where it's like, yep, they come through that barway every morning after they fly down off the roost, and if they don't talk back to you, know where they're gonna be.
Yeah.
It kind of turns into deer hunting at that point because it's not as interactive.
That's when you back out, make a big swing, and just try to
get in front of them.
Or you take off for 2 hours,
Yeah,
try and
go
find another bird, and
8
then
o'clock turkeys
wait
are
for
my
wait for
favorite.
them to lose those hens.
Have you guys had any luck with? We tried it once this year and nothing, but like that same scenario, and then you go somewhere, and then come say he was in a strut zone.
Yeah.
And he went off with the hens.
Yeah.
Go back to that strut zone and start calling.
Absolutely.
I've seen it work on I've seen Aaron Warburton do it, but
Yeah.
have you guys had any luck with that?
Tons.
I've killed a bunch of birds
Tons.
by leaving them for a couple hours and then coming back into the same area for sure.
Yep.
Get back to where I think he gobbled from last time I heard him.
He went off, maybe bred those hens, and now he's
Came back looking for the next one.
Those 9, 10 o'clock birds.
8, 9, 10 o'clock turkeys are my favorite turkeys. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because it's tough. If you don't kill them when their feet hit the ground,
Right.
it is tough that first 2 hours.
Yeah.
They usually hammer late in the morning. If they're by themselves later in the morning and you get them to gobble, they're dead.
Sit down and get ready.
They're in trouble. They're in deep trouble.
Yeah.
That's if they're by themselves. If you got a bird that just, he's gobbling, you can tell he's with hens. He's gobbling every once in a while. It's, you still get. I mean, I've pulled birds off, and I'm not a good caller by any means, but there's been times where I'm more aggressive and they come check me out and leave the hen there with.
My New Hampshire bird was that way. It was off the roost,
Yeah.
and I called him away from hens.
Yeah.
Is that yelp, yelp, cuck, yelp, yelp.
Yeah.
He
Oh my
came
God.
running downhill, like everything they don't do, right?
Come
Yep.
with me. Come with me.
And yeah, he didn't make it.
It's funny you say calling them downhill because I've had, when I started hunting Vermont, everybody I talked to over there said, always be above them when you're calling to them. And
There's never an always.
no, and they're,
I like to be level or above.
yeah,
but
likewise, same bench as them or above
Yeah.
them, but.
but where I was a big scratchings everywhere.
Right.
I was
Yeah.
like,
There's an area where
my
they want to
word.
be.
Right. They do come downhill. I've had it happen. Those Adirondack birds, they came down
Yeah.
off a mountain.
Correct, yeah.
They literally came down off
They
a
dropped
mountain.
a couple 100 feet.
They dropped a lot of elevation to come down to us.
Because, you're right. The next day we went back up there.
Yeah.
We went to where they came from.
And it was up there.
It's only it was 600 yards off the road, but we climbed 900 feet.
dang.
Yeah.
So
That's
it was,
steep.
it was just
steep.
like up on the side of the hill.
There was a road that we could walk, and then once we had to cut into where the birds were, it got real steep there. That's where it got fun.
Yeah.
And I killed that bird. We were literally like this, like I was, my knees were into my chest and my gun's on my knee.
He's
and
almost shooting at a 45-degree angle
uphill. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool, the footage. The bird, we sat there, we couldn't tell what this bird was, and it was funny because there was a Jake, what was that Jake, 30 yards in front of us?
Yeah.
For like an hour. This Jake would just sit there and he would yelp, and then all of a sudden the other bird would gobble and he would gobble. He'd Jake yelp, and then the other bird would gobble, and then he would gobble, and the thing's right there in front of us. So we sat there for an hour, not getting busted by this one Jake. And the bird I killed, he's just sitting there strutting, gobbling back and forth, acting like a big boy.
He was behind a couple spruces, so we couldn't really see him
We
well.
could see him strutting up there, and he just full gobble, and you hear the Jake gobble, and you could tell the difference. And he was strutting up there back and forth, and finally, it was like an hour and a half. Was it an hour and a half or 2 hours?
It was 2 hours.
2 hours we sat there just watching this bird, and finally he broke strut, and he started to come down the hill. And then, he got behind a tree, and he poked up over a nice big red glowing head. I was like, yep, you're going to die. I'm like, you want him? He's like, yep, boom, shoot. And you just see him right from behind a log just flip backwards. And I was like, yeah. I was like, got him. It's like 40 foot. What was it, 44 yards?
Yeah,
It was
something like that.
it was
That's a poke?
Good, yeah, it was a good
Yeah.
poke with 20 gauge. And
Yeah.
he flipped over backwards. And we go up there, and it was a Jake. I'm sure that there'll
That's
be
a boss Jake.
We were dumbfounded.
we were befuddled. It was like, this doesn't even make sense because he had a deep, full gobble, big red head, and he acted like a big boy the way he acted. His demeanor. He didn't. He stayed in one spot and just strut and was waiting for us to come up to him, and we didn't. Finally, I think that got the best of him, and he was like, "All right, I'm gonna come check you guys out." And that was where he made a bad mistake. But
Yeah, we were caught off guard. Like, I think it took like some of the excitement out at first,
Yeah.
because like we don't normally shoot Jakes. Like, we've killed enough turkeys where like we kind of let them go.
Yeah.
I killed a Jake on that trip.
10 minutes before we struck, not even.
Yeah,
it was minutes.
It was up on the same mountain. So we were up that hillside waiting to strike birds, waiting for the gobble and the roost, and
Never heard a gobble.
we didn't hear anything up on that mountain. We could hear one across the road down on the other side. I'm like, man, that's a long walk back to get back over there, and it's not public on that side. There is public, but it's way further back behind this bird. And so I think Steve hit a call just to strike that bird on the other side for the hell of it. And
Yeah, because I didn't know if he was on our side of the road or if he was across the road. And then
Yeah.
once we got over the hill, it was like, yeah, he's definitely across the road.
so we got down the side of this mountain. We climbed to the top in the dark, and then we started dropping back down a little bit, and he hit the call, and a bird gobbled 100 yards from us out of the blue,
Whoa.
out of nowhere.
Yeah, the ones that make you drop your shoulders.
Yeah, that's exactly what it did.
Yep.
And we're like, where do we even go? And there was a blowdown.
It was
Or
like
was an uprooted tree.
uprooted tree, so we got right up against like the root ball of it.
Yeah.
And this bird comes walking in, and you can see the bird coming through the trees. And all of a sudden, he steps out in the open, and Steve's on the camera, and he goes, "It's a Jake. You gonna shoot him?" I'm like, "Nope." And then he's standing there. I go, "Yep." And flatten this thing. I was like, "You know what? Came all the way out here to New York, climbed this giant mountain. This is more about the memory than anything
exactly.
else.
That's the first hunt I ever filmed, and I zoomed like I didn't realize when you're supposed to film turkey, you're supposed to have like the whole body of the turkey, maybe be out a little bit more. And I zoomed like right in on this thing, like literally, it's like just the top of his head. That's all you can see is the camera right on his head, and you just see his head, boom, right over.
30 yards,
Yeah.
TSS.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Flat. And I'm at,
Yeah.
he's like, it's a Jake. I'm like, yeah, it is.
And then
He's like, you gonna shoot him? I'm like, nope. And I got the dot on him. I'm like, yep.
and then we were sitting there and like we couldn't even celebrate because all of a sudden two more gobbled.
The ones that he
the one that I ended up shooting and the other one, they gobbled like 100 yards behind us. We're like,
back
oh.
up at the top of the hill where we just left.
So we're like, oh shit, what do we do? And we flipped around and we couldn't even get up on the same bench as them because they would have busted us. So we just I was like, this defines all turkey laws right now, but let's just sit here. And we were downhill and it was kind of cool. It was like a grassy pasture on the side of a mountain. It was like, it was really cool. Big open oaks. There wasn't a lot of trees up there, and it was just like all real dark grass that came down off this mountain. It was a cool looking spot.
It was pretty.
It was real pretty. I hopefully make a good clip out of that.
But yeah, that bird, the one that you ended up shooting,
Yeah.
like the whole time, like he was in strut, but you couldn't see him because of the spruce and hemlock, so you could just see the movement behind it. And at some point, Steve's like, I think it's a Jake. I'm like, he's like, oh, no, I think it's a full fan. I see a full fan.
Yeah, and he did have a full, it was the weirdest Jake fan. Like all of his, his those 5 feathers that are in the middle that are longer. They were only maybe an inch longer.
Yeah.
If that,
And then he gobbled up, like, there's no way that's a Jake.
Yeah, full, deep chested gobble.
Yep.
It was, he had us fooled.
And then after 2 hours, when he shot him, like,
You got what you deserved.
yeah, he's like, you know what? you deserved that
You
one.
want to act like that?
Yeah, that thing would have been terrible to try to kill as a 2-year-old. He would have been unkillable.
Because that was Steve's second New York tag.
Yeah.
You only kill one bird a day. And I'd already killed mine. So if we had known it was a Jake to start off with, we probably would have left him.
Right.
I think Steve would have passed him. But
Yeah.
after 2 hours, and we were convinced it was a Tom, but
I was like a little bummed when we got up to him, and then after the fact, I was like, wait, that was a wicked fun hunt. Like, that was probably one of the most memorable hunts I had this year. So
That's what it's about.
we got some
Yeah.
pretty pictures up on the side of the mountain.
Yeah.
The two of us together, 2 birds, 2 Jakes. You
Yeah.
know, we
Yep.
both killed a pile of Toms in our lives, but we're
Yeah.
up there celebrating with 2 Jakes.
Yeah.
Out in the middle of the Adirondacks, in the middle of nowhere, It was
I think I know that picture.
this one.
I think you showed it to me. It's a gorgeous picture. The background.
Yeah.
You might be thinking of Brett's.
Oh.
Brett's bird.
Brett's
is-
from-
that
yeah.
picture that
That's
they have of Brett.
I was
this year,
shooting tack while he was doing that.
That is the best
I think. Yep. that must
picture
be it.
I think of spring. That's like
Yeah.
that's what happens when you give John Lewis a camera.
Correct, yeah. I was taking cell phone pictures with a little wraparound tripod.
Yeah.
I get like the Bluetooth remote, so that way I can set up my phone on a small tripod,
Yeah.
set up on a log or a rock or whatever, and you can take selfies with the Bluetooth remote.
Yep. I do
when
that
you're
with
out
my
in the
watch.
woods. Yep.
It's a timer.
So that's what we were doing with ours, but
Oh, that's cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just good that you can see the background.
Those woods are cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah.
It was real cool, really cool woods.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It was awesome. That was an awesome time.
Think about those
I'll have to use that for the thumbnail.
those
yeah.
uh,
I'll send it to you.
those Adirondack birds though are tiny.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! What'd that Tom weigh that I showed? He's like 13 pounds.
13 pounds.
Yeah.
I picked him up. I was like,
Brett's Tom was 14, I think, something like that.
yeah,
Tiny.
all the
Yeah.
birds were tiny.
Yep.
It was I think the first thing I said when I picked it up, the thing flopped into a puddle. The first bird I shot, and I was like, this thing weighs nothing. I was like, this is like a hen.
But there's no
Maybe
agriculture.
putting it back in the puddle, add some weight.
There's no agriculture, so it's all mountain birds, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just
Lean, mean.
correct.
Mountain climbing machines.
Yeah.
There's no logging operations, so there's no regrowth.
It's all old woods out there.
The only logging is on private property.
Yeah, they were logging. I bet you that cut across the street. Remember where they were logging across the street from where we killed those 2 birds? I
Yep.
bet you that's going to be dynamite in there this year.
Yeah.
Right at the bottom of the hill.
Yep.
That's going to be really good in there for turkeys this spring.
So yeah, if you can find public bordering to private, the logging operations,
Yeah.
there'll be birds in there.
Oh, no doubt. Should ask Timmy about some turkeys.
Yeah. He don't care about him.
No.
He's another one that is afraid of the addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Timmy Bolduc just walked by. His wife's right into it.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew's a good turkey hunter.
Yeah.
But he's been out. He just one of those guys, take it or leave it.
Yep.
Yeah.
He left it.
That's how a lot of people
It's
are.
fine.
Well,
More birds for the rest of us.
Yeah.
You don't have
Yeah,
to
we
take
don't
out.
need we don't need Timmy out there getting good at it.
no.
Yeah.
There won't be many turkeys
I
left.
mean, if anybody's
Yeah.
wondering, there is no turkeys in New England.
No.
No.
New Hampshire and Maine especially.
Horrible.
Terrible. Mouse too.
Yep.
Vermont, nothing.
No birds.
There seems like there's no turkeys in Vermont every
Yeah.
time I go over there.
Yeah, you have some sort of hex on you over there.
Dude, it's terrible. I missed one early
Is it a
on.
placebo hex though? You're just like you cross that line, you're like, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I think it is 90% of it's mental. But, I mean, Vermont, let's face it, terrain-wise is the hardest state to hunt in New England, hands down. And, I mean, you get up into northern Maine, but there's not, I mean, the turkey population isn't, there's no turkey numbers there.
Whereabouts are you regionally? Like
In Vermont,
southeast, southwest?
I hunt everywhere in Vermont for turkey, southeast, southwest, eat the eastern part, like Connecticut River Valley, I hunt that.
Yeah. There's no birds there. Stay out of there.
Yeah. But the Connecticut River Valley, it gets hammered. You get over by like a Scutney and over that way, you just see trucks everywhere. It's terrible. It's I try to stray away from that area.
You're right where you shoot your New Hampshire birds.
And then you can just jump the border, right?
Yep.
You get right over the river there in what is it, Wethersfield or Springfield, right there.
Yep.
And it's just people everywhere. I mean,
Yep.
you got to walk to get birds over there. I mean, I feel like you get into southwestern Vermont, there's a lot of ag out there, but it's a lot of posted property too, and there's not a lot of public. But there's a lot of turkeys out there. But good luck getting permission.
Mhm.
I mean, it was weird
Yeah.
too. 2020 COVID year. I was driving down the road in Vermont, and I see a guy in a Vermont truck, and he's driving past me, and I thought he just gave me like the one finger, like a legit like one finger wave. But he went like this as I drove by. I'm like, it must be my plate. I was like, why'd this guy just flip me off? No reason.
He did give you a one finger
Yeah,
wave.
he gave me one finger wave, but not the nice one. But it was kind of funny. I was like, man, they must be pretty protective of their turkeys in this southwest part of the state.
Oh yeah, he's just bitter.
Yeah.
We had somebody we were working these field birds that you could see from the road, which I hate doing
Yeah.
because this stuff happens. But
Right.
they circled around the edge of the field and we saw them coming. We're back in the tree line.
Yeah.
And I yelped at him. They turned around and I waved. The guy waves and then turns back around with his gun facing the field. I was like,
Excuse me?
Whoa, what?
No etiquette there.
Nothing.
It happens.
If I see a truck anywhere near birds, I don't need. Why am I gonna? What? The thing is with turkeys, nobody's wearing orange. Everyone's in camo.
Yeah.
There's so much. I mean,
There's enough birds out there too. There's no need to compete.
Yeah,
for one.
move.
Somebody's there, yeah.
anybody with common sense, I mean, it's pretty. It's hard to make a hunting mistake if you have common sense. But I mean, there's some people like that guy. I mean, he walks right out into a field where he knows there's other hunters. You're asking for an accident to happen there, not on your behalf, on his behalf. It's just a stupid move. That's why if I even see a truck somewhere, even if it's a huge piece of woods, on to the next spot. Because you know what? There's probably only a couple birds in there, and if one of them gobbles and we go after the same bird, that can be dangerous.
She was bummed too. I was filming. She had her gun up on her knee. And they came around. She just lowered her gun, ripped her mask down. She's like, "Well,
That's the end of that.
Yeah.
Thank you very little.
yeah."
And the fact they just kept, they're like, whatever. I
Yep.
didn't care. Like, okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Happens, I guess.
There's bad people everywhere.
people do a lot of. It's crazy what people do just for turkey sometimes. That's
Turkey season can get
the worst of
can
people.
get western,
Yeah,
especially in the urban areas where there's more people, a lot of birds.
down by me.
Not a lot of places to go.
Yeah, there might be a lot of birds, but they're all in neighborhoods, and
Yeah.
everybody's hopping from spot to spot in their truck and hopping in and out because they can see them from the road.
Posted.
So yeah, we try and
Stay away.
stay away from all that. Get to the bigger woods.
That's why I try to get New Hampshire done first, because down where I live, Kevin's only 45 minutes from me, but down where I live, there's so many people and hunters and lazy hunters and and only so much woods because there's so much development around me. So that's why most of the time I just try to get it over with, so I don't have to deal with that later on in the season. just get my birds and move on to the next state. But
We'll park and get in the spots super early, too.
I mean, yeah, I mean that day you and I went, even though we said it's a rainy day, we'll still get there an hour before and just park there, and
You know they're going to be up in the tree for a while, but you got your spot.
Yeah,
So-
and you can, and with turkeys,
We're big in the roosting birds the night before, too.
Oh, yeah.
If we can figure out what tree they're in,
they're in trouble.
we'll sneak in there inside of 100 yards, well inside of 100
Yeah.
yards. Like,
I like watching them in the trees. I love
Yeah.
watching turkeys strut in the trees in the
it's
dark.
like feet hit the ground, shoot them in the head.
Yeah.
I killed one this year. Never even called to him on the tree. I had watched him a couple times. I think it was my second New Hampshire bird. Hunted this general area a couple mornings, and kind of like, I just wasn't getting aggressive enough. They'd fly down with hens, and they'd work off as soon as I hit a call. I'm like, this is where they're landing, like almost every single time. And I snuck in there in a pitch black, and I set up 35 yards, and the bird landed, and
on the X.
I shot him within 3 seconds of him hitting the ground. So it's
those
another
are fun
tactic.
ones.
Yeah, you can get in there tight. You're gonna get in closer earlier than other people.
I love those ones where you'll be sitting there and you can watch him in the tree, and all of a sudden he's sitting there with no purpose, or he's just gobbling, one direction, and then all of a sudden you call to him and you see him flip right around on the branch, and he's like, "Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where?" I love those ones, and then he's just sitting there trying to find you the whole time, and you're like, "I can't move, I can't move, I can't move," and then they touch down, and
At the same
boom.
time, you'll bust some birds that way too.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
You and Brett got buzzed. You almost got your heads taken off by one flying by you this
Oh
year.
yeah, did you see that short on Instagram?
I
From
might
Just
have.
Hunt Club.
Just on club. Brett was like, he's like, I want to film you kill a bird this spring. So I put this bird to bed, and there was a road that went right down to the tree. It was roosted in literally like an old logging road, and there was like a sand pit on the top. And this this bird was roosted, and we were like eye level with him. And he pitches down, and everybody's like, you should have shot him out of the air. That would have been like some OG footage. And I was like, yeah, it would have been unique, that's for sure. And the thing's flying down. He's like eye level with us, and he's right at eye level. And I'm not moving. I'm just staying right into the gun. And then all of a sudden, he just flares. He's like, I don't know, from here to the camera away. And he just flares off. And I was like, damn, he saw us somehow, some way.
It's like a hawk. I'm like, because the wings just pitch. He doesn't flap. He just comes cruising. And as soon as he gets within 10 yards of those
Not
guys,
even 10 feet.
Yeah, he banks. And he goes
No
right
kidding.
back up in the air.
And
Like,
then
without even touching the ground.
The worst part was, then we didn't even call to him. Obviously, I'm like, I'm not going to call to him. He's spooked. He alarm putted in flight. So I was like, damn. so we walked back down the truck. We're only like 100 yards from the truck. So we were probably 80 yards from the truck. We walked back over to the truck, and we walk over to the truck, and I'm like, I'm just going to hit the call once before we leave, because it was just a before work roost hunt. And I hit the call. Nothing. So I'm like, all right, dude, I'll see you. Yeah, I got to go to work. He's like, I got to go to work too. So start to, put the gun in the truck and everything. All of a sudden, right above us, thing just flies off. When he banked, he roosted right above our trucks. And he stayed in the trees above our trucks. And then he took off flying. I was like, damn, this is a grudge bird. I'll go in there and try to kill him this year.
Grudge bird.
Grudge bird, yeah.
Just another good strategy.
Oh, yeah.
One to kill birds early in the morning before they get henned up.
Yeah.
If you can kill them as they pitch the ground, and then just avoiding people too. A lot of people won't get that aggressive. They'll stay back a little bit too far. Get there earlier.
This year was the first year that I actually I saved a tag because we were trying to film a hunt, you know, and was it the second day that we went out? Was it the third? It was the third or the second. It was early.
Yeah.
The first one I got, but I kept
Third day, because it was a Tuesday, I think, and like you said, it opened on a Sunday, I think.
Yeah, I think it was like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. But I saved it.
So next year it'll open Monday.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love those weekday openings.
Yeah.
I'm willing to use vacation time.
Me too.
Not many people are.
Yeah. I didn't this year, but I've used it, yeah.
I take half days from work because you only hunt till noon, so I'll hunt until 10 in the morning. So over 2 weeks, I'll use a week's worth of vacation over 2 weeks, spread out over 2 weeks, just taking half-day vacations.
Yep.
So I'll still go into work at 11 a.m., work 4 hours, and then so I can hunt almost 2.5 straight weeks.
Yeah, the thing that's nice with like New Hampshire though is like we were saying earlier is that we don't have to take time off from work to hunt New Hampshire. You can just go before work. So if you got 31 roost hunts, you should be able to have some success in those 30-something roost hunts, which is nice. You don't have to burn the time off from work. But when you travel, travel days are usually when we go out of state or Maine, Vermont.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
I killed one bird this year before work. I've killed like 3 birds before work.
Yeah, those are the best because you go to work and it's a great start to the day. Those are
Yeah.
the best days of work ever. You're like, man, that was a good day. Then the worst is you got to deal with it. You got to clean it or get it on
Yeah.
ice so it stays cool.
Yeah, the one of them I forgot to even. I was halfway through cutting the second breast out. I'm like, I never weighed this thing. Yeah, it was about 18.
Yeah,
Somewhere in there.
yeah.
No.
Well,
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Always. The day after it ends.
That's how it goes.
We're usually pretty worn down, but
yeah, catch up on some sleep.
Oh, that's the best part is when you finally get sleep after turkey season.
especially if so like I save Maine for last because they go to June. So one, I'm going further east, and 2, it's getting light out so early there. Legal
3:45.
Legal shooting time is like 4:40 in the morning. So you gotta drive a couple hours. So now I'm leaving the house.
Yeah,
like
I saw some.
1 o'clock in the morning.
I saw some posts like it's like 2:30. Just cross the main line still after him. Like you're an animal.
Yeah.
When I hunt Vermont, I leave my house at 1:45 in the morning.
Jesus.
Yeah, and I'm in. I mean, by the time you go to bed, 8, 9 o'clock, you're at the end of turkey season. You're just
Yeah.
like this when you're driving
Yeah.
around. You know, keeping your eyelids peeled open. But
Well, that's why I got to New York so late that day because
Yeah.
Steve went out with Brett earlier in the day so that they can get their licenses. They got their licenses
with 5 minutes to
5 minutes
spare.
before the store closed. But I've got 3 kids now, so like I had to wait till everybody went to bed. You know,
Right.
Put all the kids to bed, put the wife to bed, and I hit the road at
Put the wife to bed.
I hit the road at 10
You
p.m.
know this is recorded, right?
Tuck her in.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. See you guys in a couple days.
When me and Brett got our licenses, you see 2 guys in semi camo, literally sprinting across this mall to get to Dick's Sporting Goods because we're like, we need to get our licenses for the morning. We just drove out here. We were already in New York, and here's me and Brett literally full sprint through the mall to get to Dick's Sporting Goods, and people are just looking at us like, what are you guys doing? And then we get to the counter, and the guy's like, yeah. He's like, no rush, all the time in the world. And I'm like, good. So we just sprinted across the mall for nothing.
Unless those doors were locked
Yeah.
and you got to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a commitment level to it. I mean, to go as hard as we do, for sure.
Mm.
And like, if you're just hunting your local state, you can still have a lot of fun. And
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know people that don't even get up for the roost hunt. They say because like we were mentioning earlier, it's so tough if you don't kill them as soon as they hit the ground. They sleep in and have breakfast and go out at 9 in the morning, hunt 9
Yeah.
to noon. I know people that's their tactic.
Yeah, I like that morning gobble.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Just on the
Listen
branch still.
to
and
the
Yeah.
woods wake up.
Yeah,
and,
that's cool too.
yeah.
I get
On the bird.
The
yeah.
sunrise.
Yeah. And like we said earlier, we love roosting turkeys because it puts you right in the game for the next morning. You're not.
Yeah.
You're not. It's not a crapshoot. You know where there's turkeys within. 60 yards of you. For the most part, you can be like, okay, there's that bent over tree. They're roosted right behind it, or there's a big rock right there. There's somewhere near that rock. You're right in the game.
Yeah. Or you can
Early
even,
on.
if you're feeling burnt out, don't go out the night before and roost. Get up early and
Right.
hit a few spots,
Right. Just
Yeah, for
drive
sure.
roads and listen. That's what we did in Maryland this year. Was we just drove around and listened.
Because if you're hunting high-pressured areas, I've found that they'll stop gobbling at night.
Yeah.
Yep.
They'll stop gobbling. And, I was hunting this one bird on my buddy's farm that gets just pounded, absolutely pounded. And I know where he roosted and stuff, so I got out there early, got set up, and this car pulled up. He was gobbling on the limb, gobbling. As soon as he heard that car coming, he stopped, pulled up, shut the engine off, opened the door, plastic crow call, or owl hoot, plastic owl hoot, door slams, car starts, still hasn't gobbled. As soon as they started driving away, I was sitting there laughing like, dude, this
Sit there and
bird
applaud
is
the
like,
bird.
This bird is a
Southern
savage.
birds don't
Yeah.
gobble at night. They don't. You get like that. Like I think I heard a bird gobble in North Carolina at night, and everybody's like, "You did?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Yeah, the birds down here don't do that. It's just like, it's
Huh.
at night, and obviously in the morning they'll gobble, but they don't do it in the afternoon because they." I don't know. I don't know what their rhyme
That's
or reason
weird.
is. I don't know if it's predation or what it could be, but they know better.
There's a big commitment level to our success and stuff. As far as time, family commitments.
I didn't need to see that.
Champa just exploded.
Yeah. Ugh.
We can't even not acknowledge that.
No.
He just sneezed and
He did. He's 3 weeks post sinus surgery. And I think everything that's been stuck for the last 3 weeks just came out.
how do you feel though? Better?
He's got tears coming down, but
Jesus.
Yeah, Yeah, that was an.
He's been waiting for that one for a couple weeks.
Dude, I haven't sneezed like that in weeks. That was terrible.
That was aggressive.
That was aggressive.
He ripped his headset off and just.
It was going.
Ugh.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
I'm gonna have to cover some dirt on all that snot that just came
Yeah,
out.
I'm gonna walk that way. I don't do snot.
Yeah, Amy's like, nope, not
I
me.
will puke. Nope.
But you work with little rugrats.
I do, but they know I don't do boogers. I can't.
This is a great closing to this
I
podcast.
cannot do it.
They know if they booger, I throw them.
Ugh.
Especially with kids, that's all they do is.
They do. I had one
Run
little girl
snot.
know that so much, and one kid was crying and came over. She's like, "No, you cannot get boogers on Miss Amy." And I was like, and she's freaking out. Don't go near her. It's like, it's okay. Oh.
Oh.
You can go puke next to her, but don't
Yep.
sneeze
Yeah.
next to her.
Jesus.
I don't do puke either.
Oh, yeah.
Puke and boogers.
I mean,
I can
I
change
don't-
a diaper.
I don't do puke.
I can't ever.
My
I
dog
will.
pukes. I'm like,
Ugh.
Amanda. Ugh, get it.
Yeah. Nope.
We gotta get a new one. This one's broken.
This one's broken, yeah.
Stick your hands up into a deer at 30 seconds after you kill it.
Yeah.
But you won't pick up your dog's puke.
No,
No.
no,
Oh.
no.
Yeah, the guts. It never bothered me.
No.
It just smells. To me, it just smells like deer. I mean,
Does.
a little rankier, but just like smells like a different version of deer.
I like that better than breasting out a turkey.
Turkeys stink.
And the feather, I don't know.
She was fine with it. We killed a deer with her Subaru.
Yep.
It was like a sick. It's like I don't know, I picked it up with both legs and put it in my buddy's truck, so it was 60 pounds or whatever. I don't know if Mom went across the road first or whatever. It was around December,
Yeah, it was
beginning of December.
7th. Yep.
So we got permission for it anyways, and I got it out on the side of the road, and I'm like, you're either going to love this or hate it. And I'm like, hold the legs. Got it out, handed her the heart. She grabbed the heart. I'm like, okay. You
There we
could
go.
you could be a deer hunter, too.
It wasn't bad. Yeah, the turkey, I don't know, something about the feathers and peeling, I don't know.
They do
get
smell.
warm.
And they're warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's warm out. You know, if you get a
And
late
they're
morning
warm,
bird, it's
yeah.
like 70.
They stink.
They,
Yeah.
they do.
They do stink.
But
But they're fun to kill.
they're,
Yeah.
They taste pretty good.
yeah.
A lot of people argue with that, but
I don't like 'em.
Just got to know how to prepare it.
I like the legs. Slow cook the legs. That's my favorite part. But the breast meat, I can do without. You can slow cook that too.
I
Yeah.
still got your New York bird in my freezer.
You can have it. And you think you have
That's
both
right.
of them, right?
I do.
Yeah. Have them for dinner one night.
Yeah.
It'll disappear.
Yeah.
They're almost out of deer meat, so
I'm going to change that.
Yeah.
hopefully.
We don't got a lot left, so I got to wake up, start getting better at it.
Comes with time.
I do enough of these, though. These help a lot,
You
podcasts.
learn a lot.
Yeah.
You've
And
been
I-
following some good people around, too.
Yeah.
Learning from.
Yeah, it's hard. The track and snow, man.
It's all so hit or miss.
Yeah.
Like, you only have a couple good condition days a year.
Yeah. You get one good kill day a year for tracking, and that day
The day-
this year, everyone I know, like all the good killers.
Yeah,
killed.
Jeremy
killed.
Yeah, I was in the same national forest as him, and
Yeah.
I could not find a track I wanted to follow.
Yeah.
I found a fresh bear track, but it was like a tiny little bear.
Yeah.
But I was almost at the end of my loop, and I'm like, nah, never mind.
Yeah.
But
That was a good day because it was snow. It was fresh snow, powder snow, and it was windy.
what I got to do is those areas I track, I got to really get to start scouting.
Yeah.
Because I don't know any. I only go there when it snows. I don't know of any crossings. I don't know any scrapes, signposts. I don't know nothing.
Yeah, you don't really know where to start.
So I make a big giant loop. It's like, well, that was a dumb piece of woods. The Big Jeremy, give me one.
Right.
Give me one crossing, please. Your worst crossing.
Well, that's like
Because this can be better than my best.
Yeah, exactly.
that's what Lanny said. The other day when he was giving a seminar here, he said, he goes, I scout for woods on bare ground before I even, if I find one track and I know there's a big buck that lives there, I know to go find that, drive around that piece
Yeah.
of woods after some fresh snow. And, he said they killed four 200-pound bucks in Maine. It was 85 miles as the crow flies. It was the same piece as woods, but it was 85 miles by road to get around.
Get around it.
And he knew where the different pods of big bucks were
Yeah.
around there from scouting. And I was like, man, that's pretty impressive if you think about it. Cover that much ground. He's like, and Timmy was, touching on it. He's like, yeah, Lanny just roams. He just goes and finds big
Yeah.
deer.
And I'm not taking anything away from Lanny because who the hell would I be to do that? But he did have a lot of time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He had like the whole I can't spend 2 weeks driving in a. I couldn't even afford to now with gas,
Yeah.
but I just can't do that.
Oh yeah, people were asking us about that during turkey season this year, with how much traveling and driving around two of us were doing.
I can't even.
I mean, what's your
imagine.
gas bill like? I'm not even adding it up.
I didn't even look. I had one day I went to Vermont.
A lot.
Yeah, I had one day Memorial Day weekend. I went to Vermont.
More than what I want to know about.
Yeah, I put $100 because the pump shuts off at $100 and my truck's a diesel, so I put $100 in diesel in it.
Jesus.
And I was like, all right, this will get me over to Vermont, maybe halfway home, whatever. I'll expect to put more fuel in it on the way home.
And the thing's like click, click, click.
Yeah, literally.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it was $6.20 a gallon. You
Yeah,
know?
at
so,
the time.
So I went over to, Vermont and I hunted and I started down in the southeast corner. Jeremy actually said, he's like, yeah, I saw 2 longbeards cross the road here like right at dusk last night. Might want to come start here. So I went there and then I started working my way north up Route 100 and it was the weekend of TAC. Everybody was saying, yeah, they're seeing birds everywhere. So I just started heading north up Route 100 and I got up to, like just north of Ludlow and I killed a bird up there and then I started to head home and when I was heading home I was like, oh, I gotta get fuel in my truck. I put another $100 in my truck, pump shut off, and by the time I got home my fuel light was on. I was like, that was a $200 turkey day. That was $200 today to go hunt turkeys. It was inexpensive.
They can't take the memories from you.
Nope.
They can take all our money, but
Yep. Listen, can't take it with you when you go.
it's a fact.
All of our graves are still the same size and same depth.
Was it the band The Devil Makes Three? Some cross with a diamond, some leave with $1. Both got nothing on the other side.
Yep, it's true. Might as well enjoy it while you're here.
Yep. All right, boys. Well, thanks for jumping on.
No problem.
Hopefully we got some deer stories, and
Yeah.
we'll do another one post deer season.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of the day, and
Beautiful day today.
nobody came out to Huntstock this year. Don't miss it next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys get on that.
That was a good time.
But there's been some dudes running around with some high dollar cameras. I think there's going to be some really good promo films.
They put one out this morning.
It was already awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one they put out this morning. I mean, they edited it in the middle of the night last night, real quick.
Oh, dude, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They got Mike
There was
in
a
it.
helicopter here last night.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I
helicopter.
got pictures of it.
They're
He was
getting-
filming.
Yeah.
Getting filming out of the helicopter.
Yeah, so
I flew the drone this morning on top of the hill. There's like nobody here, but like I brought it. I want to get something.
Right.
Nope. The people and the conversations have been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to talk hunting, this is the place.
It was
Yeah, like
great.
especially for everyone from the Northeast, like it's just familiar talk, you know.
Yeah.
There was
Everybody
even
can
a dude
relate.
from Georgia here selling thermal hog hunts. I got his card.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds pretty awesome.
that does sound awesome. It's just a long ways away.
Correct. The time and the monetary commitment.
And he said it's like south of Atlanta, so it's even further.
Wow. That's a long drive to get up here. Hopefully he flew.
I bet he did.
Yeah. There was somebody, I saw somebody post they posted on their story and Pat shared it that they were driving up from Florida.
Wow.
Like, that's a long drive.
Pretty
Come
cool,
up
though.
there. Yeah.
It's been worth it.
Makes you feel good about it, that you put on that good of an event to have that good of a following. People come from Florida to get up here.
For sure. It's been fun. Been good.
Yeah.
Good to meet.
Hopefully next year's just
meet
as
a lot
good.
of people.
Hopefully
Weather's
it's an
been
annual
perfect.
thing. Yeah, you couldn't have asked for better weather this weekend. This would have been
night-
semi-miserable if it was.
It'd have been a
raining.
nightmare.
Yeah.
Well, not only the heat and the humidity, but where I was, which isn't far, it was just thunderstorm after thunderstorm ripping through last weekend. So,
Yeah.
Cool.
all right, thanks guys.
Thank you.